November 8th, 1942. Sidi Bouzid, Tunisia, North Africa. The morning sun cast long shadows across the rocky terrain as Obergefreiter Wilhelm Schmidt crouched behind a stone wall, his Karabiner 98K rifle gripped tightly in both hands. The bolt felt familiar in his palm after 3 years of service. Load 1 round, fire, pull back the bolt handle, eject the spent casing, push forward, load the next round, aim, fire again. This was the rhythm of war he knew, the rhythm that had carried German infantry across Poland, France, and deep into Russia. 5 rounds in the internal magazine, fired one at a time, each requiring manual cycling of the bolt. Across the dusty field, American infantrymen advanced in a skirmish line. Schmidt had been told these Americans were inexperienced, soft, unprepared for real combat. Their equipment was supposedly inferior, their training inadequate. What happened in the next 60 seconds would prove those assessments catastrophically wrong. The Americans opened fire. The sound was unlike anything Schmidt had experienced. Not the familiar crack-pause-crack of bolt-action rifles, but a sustained roar of semi-automatic fire that didn't stop. 8 rounds fired as quickly as the trigger could be pulled, no pausing to work a bolt, no interruption in fire, just continuous aimed shots. While Schmidt managed to fire perhaps 3 rounds, the American soldier opposite him had already emptied his entire 8-round clip and was reloading. This was the M1 Garand rifle, and it was about to systematically demolish German infantry doctrine. The psychological impact on German soldiers, trained to believe in the superiority of Germanic arms and tactics, would prove as consequential as the weapon's actual firepower. This wasn't just a story of technological advantage, but of complete tactical transformation, forced upon an entire military establishment. The genesis of German confidence lay in military tradition, stretching back centuries. The Karabiner 98K, adopted on June 21, 1935, represented the pinnacle of bolt-action rifle development. Accurate out to 550 yards with iron sights, reliable in mud and frozen conditions, simple enough for conscripts to maintain. The Kar-98K embodied everything a military rifle should be, according to German thinking. It fired the powerful 7.92 by 57mm Mauser cartridge capable of penetrating substantial cover. In trained hands, the Kar-98K had conquered most of Europe. German military doctrine emphasized aimed fire from prepared positions. Infantry training stressed the importance of each round being carefully placed. A skilled German soldier could fire approximately 15 aimed rounds per minute from his Kar-98K, working the bolt with practiced efficiency. This seemed adequate when facing Polish, French, and British troops armed with similar bolt-action weapons. The British Lee-Enfield, with its 10-round magazine, could fire somewhat faster, but German officers considered this a trade-off against accuracy. When American forces entered major combat operations in North Africa in November 1942 during Operation Torch, German intelligence had prepared assessments of American equipment. These reports painted a picture of industrial abundance but military inexperience. American infantry, the assessments claimed, relied too heavily on firepower and too little on tactical skill. The M1 Garand appeared in these reports as a semi-automatic rifle of interest, but not particular concern. German analysts noted its 8-round capacity and self-loading mechanism, but pointed out it was heavier than the Kar-98K at approximately 9.5 pounds compared to 8.2 pounds. The general assessment concluded that while the M1 offered higher volume of fire, it sacrificed accuracy and reliability inherent in simpler bolt-action mechanisms. Yet American forces had already been using the M1 Garand in combat since December 8, 1941, when Japanese forces invaded the Philippines the morning after Pearl Harbor. M1 rifles, shipped between August and November 1941, had equipped the U.S. Army's Philippine Division and elite Philippine Scouts. These soldiers used their Garands effectively enough that Japanese troops reportedly believed they faced machine gun fire. General Douglas MacArthur cabled in February 1942, praising the rifle's performance in the dust and dirt of foxhole fighting. By the time German forces faced Americans in North Africa, the M1 Garand had proven itself through nearly a year of brutal jungle combat. The reality encountered on North African plains shattered German assumptions with brutal efficiency. Schmidt's unit established defensive positions, expecting to stop American advances with disciplined aimed fire. When Americans attacked, the volume of return fire was massive. Not machine gun fire, which Germans expected and knew how to handle, but rifle fire. Continuous, sustained rifle fire. German soldiers would fire, work the bolt, acquire the target again, fire. Perhaps 15 rounds per minute from trained soldiers. But each American was firing 30 to 40 rounds per minute, hitting their targets. Germans could not suppress them. Every time they raised their heads to fire, multiple rounds came back immediately. The mathematics were undeniable. In a 2-minute engagement, a German soldier with a Kar 98K might fire 30 aimed rounds. An American with an M1 Garand could fire 80 rounds in the same period. More critically, the German soldier had to break his sight picture, work the bolt, reacquire his target, and fire. The American simply pulled the trigger 8 times in rapid succession, his aim barely disturbed by the rifle's modest recoil. The M1 Garand's semi-automatic operation relied on a gas-operated system. As a round fired, propellant gases were diverted through a port in the barrel into a cylinder below. This gas drove a piston that cycled the action, ejecting the spent cartridge and chambering a new round. The entire process took a fraction of a second. The rifle's action remained closed between shots, maintaining barrel-to-sight alignment. Accuracy did not suffer despite rapid fire. Testing at Springfield Armory demonstrated the M1 could maintain 4-minute of angle groups, 4 inches of spread at 100 yards. Many production rifles performed significantly better. General George S. Patton, in a letter dated January 26, 1945, to Major General Levin H. Campbell, Jr., Chief of Ordnance, wrote, "In my opinion, the M1 rifle is the greatest battle implement ever devised." This was not hyperbole. Patton understood the rifle had fundamentally changed infantry combat. A soldier armed with an M1 Garand possessed firepower equivalent to multiple riflemen with bolt-action weapons without sacrificing accuracy, reliability, or effective range. By mid-1943, the United States Army was equipping entire divisions with M1 Garands. During World War II, from 1937 through 1945, approximately 4,040,802 M1 rifles were manufactured. Springfield Armory in Massachusetts produced 3,526,922 rifles, while Winchester Repeating Arms in Connecticut manufactured 513,880. Production reached such levels that by D-Day in June 1944, virtually every American rifleman carried an M1 Garand. This represented unprecedented achievement. An entire military force numbering in the millions armed with semi-automatic rifles, while opponents still carried bolt-action weapons. The M1 Garand's technical specifications told only part of the story. The rifle fired the .30-06 Springfield cartridge, a powerful round that had served American forces since 1906. The cartridge propelled a 150-grain bullet at approximately 2,800 feet per second, delivering substantial energy at extended ranges. The rifle fed from an 8-round en-bloc clip, a metal clip inserted directly into the rifle's action. When the last round fired, the clip automatically ejected with a distinctive metallic ping. While some feared this sound might alert enemies, combat veterans universally reported that battle noise made the ping inaudible beyond a few yards. The rifle's reliability became legendary. Exposed to North African dust, Italian mud, Northern European cold, and later Korean winter conditions, the M1 functioned with minimal maintenance.